Hi everyone, we're back again for the podcast today with someone who plays soccer to her own beat, Valentina Soares Gache. It's great seeing you again, Val. How are you?
That was a very clever intro. I'm good. How
Yeah,
are
see,
you?
I've been working on them. We'll tell everyone about that, how we reached that conclusion later on.
Okay, sounds good.
So you were born out in California. How was life growing up there? That must have been a dream.
It really was. Like I always said I was living in paradise and I knew it, like we all did. I grew up really close to Laguna Beach, which I still think is one of the most beautiful places on earth. Um, and it was just a lot of fun because it was like a really active way to grow up, like having the beach that close and just like a community of people who are just love to be outside and like do things you could never be bored. Like there was always something to do. There was always a trail to hike or a cliff to find and jump off of. And we were just like always adventuring if we weren't in school or playing soccer. And that was just really, I'm actually really, really thankful for that I had like a childhood where I played,
Yeah,
because a lot of
instead of
kids
just
don't
being
play
stuck
anymore.
inside. Yeah, that's the most
Yeah,
frustrating thing to see. Like I seen like my little cousin here, and like she plays, but she doesn't play outside like I used to. I was outside every single day from sunrise to sunset.
right. Exactly. And like my little brother, who's now turning 16 soon. I think he was like the last person in our entire family to really play hard. Like he was outside, same as you, sun up to sunset. But like after that, it's like I see that some of my younger cousins and they're just like on their iPad all day, and I'm just like, wow, I'm so grateful that I grew up somewhere where I could play like that,
Yeah.
and the way that I did, and that I did. So it was really great.
So when did you start playing soccer then?
Um, so I probably started when I was like really young, like 5 years old, but I didn't take it seriously until like a little bit later than most, I would say. Um, I started taking it seriously like in middle school, which is actually I'm really grateful for because my parents, yeah, I grew up in a soccer household, not players, but everybody loved to watch, just kind of like our Argentinian culture, I guess. It's just
Yeah,
everybody
you're
loves
you're
soccer.
stealing you're stealing my next part already.
Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna
um,
say like obviously like you're with your Argentinian background, you would have been brought up with that.
yeah, for sure. And for that reason, I think that it was just a game that we all enjoyed. So there wasn't all this pressure, especially in Southern California. It's a big soccer hub. Like these kids have pressure from a super young age, and I just kind of got to enjoy playing until I decided that I wanted to take it seriously, um, which was awesome. And yeah, so I grew up. My dad was always my coach. Like it was a very. I kind of got to fall in love with soccer on my own terms, which I really am grateful for.
Yeah, because you could just kind of float along and be like, "Oh, this is great!" Like you're playing it for fun. And that's the most important thing. Like people, you lose that fun later on in life when you're playing it because everyone's like, "Oh,
Mhm.
we have to win. We have to do this." It's like, oh, we're on to the time where I used to go out on the pitch, score a good few goals, and just relax.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So
Yeah.
obviously, with your Argentinian background, I know the answer to this already, but who were your idols growing up that made you fall in love with the sport?
Okay, so you Messi's the obvious one that I look up to, but he actually doesn't resonate with me the way most people would think because I never was a Messi. Like
Yeah,
that was never my style, never my skill set. Like I never played like Messi. Um, I really fell in love with it. I was in Argentina for I want to say the 2006 World Cup, or was it 10 in Germany? I think it was 10. And I remember I had this little booklet. They're called like figuritas, and they're these little stickers. I think they have them here. The
yeah,
little stickers, and you fill the book. You buy the packs, and you fill the book with all your players,
yeah,
right? So I had got one of those when I got there, and I was filling my book up, and I was watching all the games, and I was super into it. And like the team at the time was just like I remember falling in love with all the players, and none of them are like really popular now. But yeah, and then I remember they beat Mexico in the quarterfinal. Maxi Rodriguez scored this insane goal off his. It came off, bounced out of the box. It came off his chest, and he side volleyed it, banger, and they
hmm
beat Mexico. And I remember we flooded the streets and we went to like the center of Buenos Aires, which is like El Obelisco. It's like this huge building, right?
Yeah.
And I remember I went with my grandma, who was like 80 years old. There's me and my grandma. And we just ran in the streets and everybody's running. We were like, vamos, like screaming. And I remember I got on the news and I was like, I fucking love soccer. Like, I loved it. But as I grew and like became my own player, I really looked up to Mascherano. He was a holding mid for Argentina. He also played for Barcelona, holding mid and center back. And I just loved like how gritty he was, and I would watch him play, and I would watch how strategic he was about when he tackled, and I felt like I played like him. So I always watched him, and I always tried to learn from him. Yeah, and that's like a super random idol because he's kind of like in the background, but those are the kinds of players that I always love, like the players who are in the background but are very integral to the whole scheme.
Yeah, Mascherano had not a bad career. He won the Champions League a few times, and
yeah, exactly.
So you played at Tesoro High School and West Coast Football Club with one of your future teammates at Northeastern, Hannah Lopicolo, where you won the Excalibur Tournament Championship and League whilst reaching the ECNL finals as well. How was your time there?
Yeah, it was amazing. So I actually went to a Catholic school for the first 2 years of high school. And it was super intense. The soccer was super intense. The year I left, they won a state championship. But
so was that your fault?
Maybe. But no, they won when I left, and I left because there are a lot of reasons that the school wasn't right for me, but I had so much pressure in club soccer, and like it was so serious and competitive that I didn't want that in my high school soccer experience. It wasn't necessarily the reason I changed schools, but it was a positive. And when I went to Tesoro, it was very like we would wrestle in the middle of practice. Like it was super, but we were amazing. Like our team was great. Like that tournament you mentioned in Southern California is like all high schools in Southern California, and my high school Tesoro was notoriously bad. Like we never would come close to winning something like that. And we won, and then we had a great run. It was awesome. So I really enjoyed that experience. And then my club experience, I look back on so fondly because the girls that were on that team are still my best friends. And we were on the same team for like probably 8 or 9 years. And we had this horrible coach, and we just tell stories about him all the time. And looking back, it was like awful, but we just look at it so fondly because it was just these hilarious memories that we can now laugh at. But yeah, we were also kind of like the middle child of the club, is what we used to always say. We were super talented. Nobody wanted to coach us because they couldn't figure us out. We were like a weird group of girls. Like we were really talented, but they couldn't figure out how to motivate us and how to coach us and kind of put us all on the same page. So it was interesting, but I wouldn't change it for a thing. Like those are some of my fondest memories.
Yeah, so obviously you had some like weird experiences with coaches and stuff. Do you think that helped prepare you for college soccer as well? Because obviously you never know what's going to happen with college soccer.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the fact that my club coach told me I wasn't shit every single day, you aren't shit, like he would literally pull me out of the game and be like, me and then my best friend and then my other best friend. And he would be like, at halftime, so I pulled everyone out today in order of who sucked the most. Val, I pulled you out first, obviously. Like, that's kind of how he would talk to us. So coming to Northeastern, I felt like I was ready for everything. And then when Ashley Phillips became my coach, I really was ready for
it. So you did end up at Northeastern. What other schools were you looking at?
So I was really horrible with the recruiting process. You're supposed to email coaches to come to your games and all that. And I was so bad with that. And I was also I'm young for my grade. So I was older than everyone on my team. So I was a sophomore, for example, and my team was mostly freshmen. So coaches weren't looking at us yet, but I needed to be looked at because I was older.
It's not like you've
and I was also Right. I was also horrible with the emailing and all of that. So needless to say, like I wasn't super committed to the recruitment process, but I was looking at Pepperdine for sure, San Diego State, a lot of California schools, Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, and then I had like a couple of random offers from like Houston and like school in Tennessee, like random
Hmm.
places. But I was pretty dead set on staying on the West Coast. I did speak to BU for a while, and then I told them no because I didn't want to be in Boston. It was boring.
That kind of ended up differently. So yeah, you mentioned there about like obviously it's a lot of effort to reach out to coaches and stuff, like send them emails, that kind of stuff. So there is actually an app that we're partnered with at Student Athlete Success. It's called Show Next, like where kids can basically they record like a video of them playing, and it's like a kind of Instagram for soccer. So you just post your video, your highlights and stuff, like on there, and it creates exposure because there's a lot of coaches on there who are looking at it and being like, oh, like this player could be great. Like let's reach out to them, see when they're going to play instead of it all being on like the athlete themselves. So
That's very
hopefully
fair. I
that'll
like
help bridge the gap and help a lot of kids who maybe aren't from a well-off background who can't go to all these big tournaments and stuff as well. Give them a bit of exposure for college soccer.
Yeah, that's great. I really like that. It's cool
So,
because it takes a lot of pressure off kids, especially as like you get younger. It's getting younger and younger, the recruiting
yeah,
age. So it's like, what is a 12-year-old supposed to know about emailing coaches? Like,
exactly. Yeah, like they're still wanting their parents to drop them off here, there, everywhere. Like it's
yeah.
So, what made you end up deciding on Northeastern then? I know you said that you didn't want to be in Boston.
Yeah. So it's funny. I really wanted to go to UC Santa Barbara. Like I fell in love with that place. When I went and visited, they showed me the girl's house on a cliff over the ocean, and I was just like, "Yep, I gotta be here. I'll live on this cliff and play soccer." Like,
You're like, I'm sold here, just take me.
yeah, I was like, "Just take me. I'm in." Um, and so I was really, really dead set on going there. And at the time, like, I really lived my life like experience through music, and I found out that Jack Johnson went to UCSB, and I was really into him at the time. So I remember I got like all his CDs from my neighbor and I burned them onto my computer. And I was just listening to Jack Johnson, obsessing over Santa Barbara, just trying to manifest it. I was like, let's go, this is it. And I remember they were like, okay, we'll see you at this tournament and then we'll make the official offer. Okay, actually, one more tournament and we'll make the official offer. Okay, actually, one more. They kept kind of dragging it out.
Yeah,
And then eventually they were like, you know what, we decided not to take anyone else for your recruiting class. Sorry. At this point, it's July going into my senior year. I had let every other offer slip away because I was so hell-bent on going to UCSB.
yeah,
And the only offer that I had left was this random school called Northeastern. And I had no idea what it was. I was like, screw that. I don't even know what that is. And my mom had convinced me to not turn it down. She's like, why turn it down? Just leave it open. They're not pressuring you on time. Just leave it open. So I fine, I'll leave it open. And then when I got the news from Santa Barbara, I was like, shit, maybe I'll just not play college soccer. Like, maybe I'll just go somewhere cool and like study and like have a normal, fun college experience. And I was like, why don't we just go check out this school, Like my mom went to BU. She was like, I love Boston. You're going to love it. I was like, all right, fine. So I call the coach and I'm like, hey, Tracy, I'll accept your offer. And she starts laughing on the phone. And I was like, is the offer gone? Why are you laughing? And she was like, you can't just call me and say you're going to accept my offer. You've never visited. You don't know what Northeastern is. Like, you need to come visit, Belle. And I was like, okay, got it. Okay, I'll come visit. So I went and visited and I was like, oh, this is actually really cool. Like, Northeastern sells itself, like, and I met all the girls. It was like the first day of preseason. And I was like, I met some of the girls and I was just like, okay, this is actually really cool. I'm excited now. I can go here. Like, but that's how it was. It wasn't like this, oh, I want to go to Northeastern and I made it happen. Like, it was very just a product of my circumstance.
yeah. I know what you mean because I kind of went through a similar situation. Like I was back home, I had no idea about coming to the US. Like I was playing like part-time professional in Scotland, and I got the call. It was like, oh, do you want to come to Boston? I was like, is it all paid for? He was like, yeah. I was like, okay, see you soon.
Yeah, that's the
And you
question,
land
right?
at Northeastern, you're like, oh, top 50 school in the country. Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because I was like, well, dang, okay, whatever. I was like excited about that I had picked a school, and I was really excited about the city because I really felt like this energy when I went to bus, and I was like, whoa, this is cool. I've never been in a city like I'm gonna live here. Like this is cool.
Yeah,
But as I was getting ready to go, like the team had an amazing season. Like it was Hannah Lapicolo's freshman year. They were like at
yeah.
one point ranked 5th in the country, and I was like, oh, let's go. This is cool. Okay, like I'm into this. And then I remember I went on my official visit, and I loved all the girls, and I was like, okay, now I'm really excited. And I was really happy about my decision then. But yeah.
Yeah, so obviously in your freshman year, you only started 2 games. How did that make you feel, especially having been a key player like at club level and high school back in California?
Yeah, it was really hard. I remember the first scrimmage of the season. It was a double header, I guess,
Yeah,
2 games in one day. And Tracy said, okay, we're gonna have a group of people who aren't gonna play in the first game, so they're not gonna warm up either. Just go up in the field house and watch. And I was one of those people. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell? Like I was freaking out. I was like, no way. Like I was like, okay, I gotta change this. And then I remember I go up to that field house, and one of my teammates, I won't say who it was a much older girl. She said,
spell their
once
name.
you're,
Come on.
it was Nikki Wilkins. It was Nikki Wilkins, and she said, once you're up here, it's already, the decision's made in Tracy's mind. You're out. And I was like, oh no. Like,
You're like, oh no, am I going to have 4 years of this?
yeah, I was like, it's over. Oh God. Like, and so I remember then things kind of started changing a little bit, and I started proving myself more, but it was very like, I only started 2 games, and I was very inconsistent on my playing time. I played every single game except the one that my family flew out to watch me play. But it would be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then it would be 60. And then I would
Yeah.
start, play 90, then play 5, then not play. Like, so it was emotionally, it was like, oh my God, this is a
Yeah,
lot.
you don't really know what impact you're making on the coach as well. You're like, am I impressing them or not?
Right. Yeah. And I had players on the field who would be like, we really need you on the field. We want you to play. Like, we want you to play. I'm trying to talk to whatever. Like, and I always felt like, okay, people believe in me. People want me to play, but I don't think my coach believes in me. Like, so it was like a really, like a tug of war in my mind where I was just trying to figure out, like, am I good? Should I, like, do I deserve this? Am I fighting? Like, it was definitely a really emotional year.
Yeah, so in the 3 years after that, you actually went on to start 52 games. Like, I think you missed like 4 or 5 games over the course of 3 years. What changed from freshman year that just ended up in you taking over?
Um, I really don't know if this is it, but this is what I feel like it is. When our season ended my freshman year, our coach ended up leaving, and we got a new coach, as you know, Ashley Phillips. And she took over for the spring season. So we had a full spring season with her before the fall. And I could just feel that she believed in me. Like I just knew. She made it clear that she thought I was talented and I had a lot of potential. And I proved myself that spring playing right back
Yeah,
because someone was hurt. I don't know. I was playing right back that spring, and that's how I proved myself. So when I came back in the fall of my sophomore year, my goal was beat out the right back because I was like, I can't beat out the midfield. It's Karina, DeAndre, GOAT all
the
time.
best center mid that's ever existed at Parsons.
Yes. Hannah Lapicolo, another GOAT.
Yeah.
And Brie Comans, a 5th-year senior, also very good. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to beat out a midfielder, so let's beat out the right back. So preseason, I start doing that, and then we had a inter-squad scrimmage, and they threw me at attacking mid because I think Hannah needed a break, which was story of my freshman year. Hannah needs a break. And then I just like that's where I feel comfortable. So I don't know what I was thinking. I guess for me it was just like Hannah needs a break. I'll just step in here real quick. And then after that practice, Ash was like, "All right, you're playing in the midfield." Like, and I was like, "Really?" Okay.
Yeah.
So from then on, I really think that year taught me a lot because I formed this amazing friendship with Karina and partnership on the field, and we just had this like connection. Like,
Is that a South American connection there? What was it you used to call it? The Messi to my Suarez?
yes, we used to say that all the time. Yeah, it was great. We would drink mate in the airport. Like, you see them getting off the plane with their mate drink. It was amazing. But yeah, so I feel like that year taught me so much from her. She taught me so much about leadership and playing, and I watched her be an amazing CDM, and it's just like we won that year. It was definitely the best year ever. Like we won, we went to Clemson. It was amazing.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the next part as well. Like, you won the CAA championships in your sophomore year. How was that experience? Like, it must have been great for you, especially not playing as much as you'd hoped, like freshman year.
yeah, that was the best feeling. That year was so much fun. We always say it was like the best year of our lives, which is like kind of sad, but it was amazing, and we just clicked. Like I don't even think we started well that year. Like our preseason was not good, and
Yeah,
then when it came to league play, we just turned it on, and we were winning games. Like we were winning games. We weren't just like kind of getting by. Like we were
yeah,
winning
you were
3-1.
blowing teams out and stuff. I was like, oh,
Yeah. And it felt like every piece of the puzzle was there that year. Like Hannah Rosenblatt was on fire that year.
yeah,
Like Karina and I, we were connected in the midfield. Hannah Lovacola just does her thing. You just gotta let her do it.
just like there you go, Hannah. There you go. Come back a few times if you want.
Yeah. If you want, that would be nice. Eve Goulet came into her own that year. Like everybody just came together in such an amazing way that year. So, and then going to Clemson, we actually put up a great fight at Clemson too. Like we lost 1-0 at
Yeah,
the end.
yeah.
So
That must have been a proud moment as well, being able to play in the NCAA tournament, like and playing
yeah,
so well, especially against Ashley Phillips's alma mater.
yeah, that was fun. Yeah, it was a very like validating moment to know, especially just as a player, to know like, okay, I hung in there with Clemson. Like I didn't shit the bed. I hung in there.
Yeah,
So it's like a nice little reminder. Like I'm good.
yeah. It's like, all right, I can play at this level.
Yeah.
So obviously you played with some great characters in that team, as you mentioned, Karina, Eve, Analopico, Rosie, Kayla. Like, who were the players that impressed you the most?
Hmm. Karina, of course, for reasons I already mentioned. Eve Goulet impressed me day in and day out every single year. Her
And that just
character.
wasn't our dancing skills.
What was that?
That wasn't just our dancing skills.
Oh, that plays into it as well. But no, she just had this insane resiliency, like insane. I've never seen anybody be beaten down so much and like rise the way she did. Like she's amazing, and her passion on the field. Like I was captain with her for 2 years, and she's just cares so much, and she played that way too. Eve was a huge inspiration for me. Nikki Gorman, like that girl is so talented, like talented, and could not give a shit. Like she couldn't care less, and she would just be amazing no matter what, and she wouldn't need any preparation. She could just show up and literally just murder the whole team. Like it
Yeah, she's
was.
just like, all right, I'm here.
She's like, yeah, I showed up. What do you want me to do? Score a goal? Okay, fine. Like that. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. There's so many girls. Like I respect everybody so much on that team. Like especially that year, we had some younger girls come in who were really amazing. Junie Ross and McKenna McManus was an insane player. But yeah, everybody was amazing.
So, like, out of all these players you played with, was there a joker? And like, what kind of things did they get up to?
Oh, that's a great question. We had a lot of jokers, and they all had like their own style. Like I was very like goofy, out of pocket, like Val, shut up, kind of thing. Eve was just always hilarious. Megan and Eve had this like dynamic duo going at one point that was so funny. Carrie Zerfoss is hilarious. Oh my god, that girl is insane. everybody was just, we had like a very fun dynamic. Everybody was super hilarious, but just in their own ways.
Yeah, and I think that like contributes to the success she's had as well. Like having that relaxed feel about the place. Everyone could just go out and play their own game and like know that everyone's got each other's back.
Yeah, definitely.
So obviously being in Boston, great place to be. There must have been a few memorable nights out. Tell us about your social life away from soccer.
Mm. Um, it's funny because it's like social life away from soccer. My social life was, soccer was in my social life, you
Yeah.
know? Freshman year, we hung out with the boys soccer team like every weekend. It was never ending. But I had so much fun, and it was really cool for me to come to Boston and like meet a bunch of international students, and like a lot of the guys on your team, including yourself, just coming from all over the world. It's like, I really enjoyed that because, you know, my parents are Argentinian. I didn't grow up like in a super, super American family,
Yeah.
but I felt like I really like got to connect with that side of me, like with all the guys, Dan and Sam and you and Karina, and just like, I loved that. That was more my freshman year, but that was so much fun. And I really felt like the nights that I had the most fun were the nights that it was literally like our whole team was there.
Yeah.
Like, I had so many fun nights, obviously going out with my closest friends and my little group, but the nights that it was the whole team, freshmen and everything, like
Yeah,
those were
you
really
knew something was going on the nights. You're like, all right, this is going to be good.
the best stories definitely came out of those nights.
And all crushed into tiny apartments.
Yes, my tiny apartment.
So, what would you say your honest experience was at Northeastern then?
Oh, I loved my experience at Northeastern. I always say like, thank you, Santa Barbara, for doing me dirty, because I don't think I can't imagine being anywhere else. And I think I was, for so many reasons, that was the place for me. Like the way I got to, like my soccer experience had a lot to do with it too. Like the fact that I got to contribute the way I did is like huge to my happiness, because I know myself. And if I was on a bench somewhere, I'd be in my head like, I know I could be out there, and I
Yeah,
would just be miserable for 4 years. Like, but it wasn't easy. It was still a challenge. I still had to earn it and work for it, but I still had the opportunity to contribute and be a leader, which I'm so grateful for. And I genuinely love every single person that I played with, all my coaches, all the staff, like just amazing people, you know?
yeah.
So that really was a huge contributing factor to my happiness there as well.
So, you're now working as a manager in the music industry with people such as Winter Gordon and Jerry Soul and the Black Eyed Peas. How did that opportunity end up coming around?
So the summer before my senior year, I did an internship with a guy named Dre London, who's Post Malone's manager. That came about super randomly. My stepdad is a wealth manager, like a private banker, and he used to manage this guy's money, and he loved soccer, so they would talk about Chelsea all the time, and like he was a Chelsea
Yeah,
fan. He's British, and he was like, "Yeah, my stepdaughter plays soccer." He's like, "Oh no way! Let me see some highlights, whatever." He like showed him a goal of mine or something, and he was like, "Oh, what does she want to play pro?" And he's like, "No, she wants to do music." And he was like, "Oh, well, I need an intern this summer." And so like, that's literally how it happened. And then I finished school, and then I started working for a management company with this guy named Steve Rifkin. And we had like a very interesting roster. It was like a lot of old school rappers, because that was kind of how he made his name. So
yeah.
I was working on DMX, Busta Rhymes.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, it was, oh my gosh. I remember one day I got a call. I was in a hotel in New York, and I get a call from a random number. I'm like, hello? He's like, what up, Val? It's Bus. And I was like, Busta Rhymes? Like, what?
You should have been like, oh yeah, like Busta, I've got a friend who can rap your verse better than you.
Oh my god. Yeah, so that was great, and I learned a lot. And during my time there, we signed, I will correct you, it's Diana Gordon. She was Winter Gordon a life ago,
Oh,
but
she's
yeah.
now matured.
It's just, you know, that's the tale as old as time, where you put an artist in the music industry and you force them to be something they're not, and the
Yeah,
big bad label.
Yeah,
always
it's
them.
like,
And
all right, you only fit into this like category here, like instead of being like, all right, you can be this person instead.
right, she's like this beautiful, soulful, folky, insane
Yeah, her
talent.
voice is amazing. Like,
Yeah. And they were making her be a dance artist, like going on tour with like David Guetta. So
yeah,
she hated it. She changed her name, started over. But we started working with her, and it kind of just like became my project. She was the only female on our roster, and I was the only female on the team, and they kind of just let me run with it, which was, in retrospect, the most insane thing. Because I just graduated, I didn't know what I was doing, and I was literally figuring things out every day, like trying to make it work. It was really stressful, but I learned so much. So when COVID happened, the management company had to let everyone go.
yeah,
So when they let us go, Diana also let the management go for other reasons, and she hired me. So I've been working with her new management. I'm a day-to-day manager, so they're like more high-level executive managers, and then I handle all of the day-to-day.
yeah.
And through them came the opportunity to work with J. Ray Soul from the Black Eyed Peas, because they also started managing her. So yeah, that hasn't really kicked in yet, but we'll see how that goes. I'm excited for that because Black Eyed Peas are killing it right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I also just started managing an artist on my own that I found, a young artist who hasn't really dropped anything yet or started building. So that's going to be a lot of fun to get to build from the ground up with someone.
So what kind of things do you get up to like day to day with them?
Oh my gosh, it could be all kinds of things. Like a couple weeks ago, I was in New York for a photo shoot for 2 days. Yesterday, I went to a fitting for a photo shoot that's on Wednesday. I don't know, like right now it's unique because of COVID. So it's just a lot of meetings and calls and stuff. But as we get ready to release music, it'll just be a lot of release prep. And, you know, when a song comes out, it doesn't just go on Spotify. There's like a
Yeah.
lot, months of background work, pitching to playlists and PR and marketing and plans and a lot of work. So yeah, we're getting ready to start making new music. So that process is cool. We're just kind of going through producers we want to work with and who we want to write with, and kind of like concepts for albums. And so it's like a very creative space right now.
So obviously you've had a keen ear for music these last like since you were born really, and like it's always been a passion for you directing where you're going, but you're also writing and producing music for other people just now. And I think we're all hoping you decide to release some yourself after hearing your talents. And Who Do You Know for Sweetback?
Oh
Do you think
God.
that's that was a good tune? You did well.
Thank you.
Do you think that's going to be in the near future, or do you think that would
mm,
be something longer term?
right now, I'm really just trying to figure out like which plants to water. You know, I have a lot of plants in my house. Like I've got the management, the day-to-day management with the two artists, and then I've got my guy I'm managing, and then, you know, trying to get some placements with artists writing and producing, and then my own stuff. So I'm just trying to like spread the water the best
Yeah,
way possible. I think that the writing and producing is really exciting because I love doing that. And I kind of fell into this opportunity where I'm able to start doing it more. I remember like the first night I went to the studio, we just started playing, and I wrote a couple chords, and like we made this like 80s beat with it. And a, I can't say who, but a very, very well-known rapper cut it that night. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like I was super stoked. And I was just like, okay, I want to keep doing this. My first try, I got a cut from like a massive rapper. Like,
yeah,
so that's really fun. And I just try to squeeze that in whenever I can. Like I'm sitting right now at my desk. It's like, I've got my speakers, my keyboards, all my guitars, and just like, whenever I have a spare moment, which is amazing about working from home, whenever I have a spare moment, I'm just trying to create.
yeah.
But in terms of my own music, I really don't know if that will be part of if that will be in the cards for me, but we'll see.
What would your screen name be?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Probably just Valentina.
Yeah,
Um,
a big good one, actually. Simple but effective.
yeah.
So thanks very much for taking the time, Val. It's been great hearing your journey so far, and obviously the exciting things you're up to in the music industry just now. But before we go, what's some advice you could offer out there to future and even current student athletes still competing or thinking about committing to a college to play sports?
Yeah, I think, I mean, there's so many pieces of advice like that I could give, but I think most importantly, just like really walk in your truth, like know what you want and what's just think about what's going to be right for you. You know, don't think about, oh, my friends are going to this school, my friends are going to that school's ranked this or that. Think about what place is going to be a good home for you, because it's so easy to get wrapped up in all of that, especially if you grow up in like a soccer hub like New Jersey or Southern California or Mass. Like,
Yeah.
just like walk in your truth, and when you get there, do the same thing, and just like be kind to the people around you because they're your teammates and your coaches, and just like show love, and you know, just stay true to who you are, because the second you start to let go of that, you question everything, and it's this downward spiral. It's just remember who you are, remember why you're there, and work your ass off. That's another one.
Yeah, that's some great advice. Thanks again, Val.
Of course. Thank you.